All right, happy Tuesday. And here we are live. And this is a special, it's always special when I get a chance to have this formal conversation with my wife and
Of
business
25
partner
years.
with 25 years in front of everybody. And in fact, it's a great milestone to do anything for 25 years. And I am so delighted that I've been married to you for those 25 years. It's been
Oh,
absolutely wonderful. I look
I
forward to
love
another
you.
25.
At least,
Yeah,
at least another 25 for sure.
right.
'Cause
Yeah,
Your parents will be married
they're
70 years.
70 years in December.
I want to be like them when I grow up. They are
All right.
so cool.
Yeah,
So, oh my God, just love
yeah,
them. Just
yeah. We're
love
blessed to have them, no doubt about it. No doubt
them. Yeah.
about it. But
So,
longevity is a great thing, and in fact, I like to spend a little time today talking about some longevity, talking about the last 20 years of business and what you've learned and gained and what the journey's been like and what you've
woo,
gleaned from it and things that have certainly worked out well that I think in fact we were talking the other day is that there's certain things in our careers that we had early on that are still applicable, but
mhm,
the technology has changed in terms of how do you actually use them. So
right.
maybe we can touch upon some of those types of things as well. But
Well,
just overall, why don't you just kind of jump in there of what's the last 20 years have been like in this journey?
yeah. So, obviously, Ministry Marketing Solutions, I started that when I left as the public relations director of the Salvation Army. We got married, got pregnant, had a baby.
Hmm.
We had a baby. I had a baby, or we had a daughter. And one of the things that I always wanted, that was in 2000, was that I it was around 96-ish or so when I just felt like I wanted to do something on my own. And at that time, you had Perry Marketing Group, and I left the director of public relations of the Salvation Army to come in as vice president of public relations for Perry Marketing Group. So I got a promotion. And yeah, that was fun. And I did that for a few years, but your business was primarily automotive. And my heart was always working with ministries, Christian authors, Christian speakers. And
Mhm.
so I brought in a few of those clients to Perry Marketing Group, Daryl Ford being one of them. Remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
Daryl Ford was leaving the radio station and
Mhm.
launching, I believe it was his ministry. And so we did
Right.
some things for
Very
that.
beginning.
TJ Hempfield, we worked with him.
Uh,
We
yes.
did Perilous Times. That was still under Perry Marketing Group, right? Because we were
Right.
it was melding at that time. I didn't really realize it.
Mm.
And then we
Right.
worked with some nonprofits. Remember, we worked with Motel.
Motep.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
worked with
That's
them
right.
and they did their walk and all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
so really at that point it was like I had a passion and had the daughter, was working with you, but also working on what was my next. And so when that business closed, because you were primarily working with automotive clients. And so I just want to say to you, Mark, when you ran that company, it was roughly what, 10 years? Roughly
Yeah.
about 10 years?
It was 10 years.
About 10 years. And when that business closed, it doesn't mean that that was a failure. It was just another phase. So I'm saying it to anybody who's an entrepreneur. You may have seasons where things change and you don't know why they change at the time. You think, oh, this is what I started. This is what it's going to be. But you morph into other things. You gain other experiences. So for me, working at the Salvation Army, then working with you for those 4 years, and then starting my own business, it was a scary time because remember, that business went out of business and we're like, okay, we got this baby
Let me
and
jump.
and and
What
it's
you're
like, what
talking
are we
about
going to do?
is recognizing a time to change when things are changing. That's the lesson, at least for that particular point for me, is recognizing when it is time to change, when it is something else that's kind of coming along and making those adjustments.
Mhm, mhm. And the thing of it is that make sure the thing of it is when something is changing, you have to change with it and not be afraid. So
Right.
of course, obviously, it was like, okay, either one or two things: either we start another business or we go get a job. So what happened at a certain point in time, it was like you went to go work at an ad agency, one of the top.
Not yet. Actually, I went to a startup. It was a paper company.
Yeah,
We were
that's right.
going to start
That's right.
with a former client.
That's right.
And we did that, and it was an opportunity for us to kind of test the water, and we saw that it really wasn't going to work out, and then that's when I made the transition to the ad agency.
Right. And it's, again, it's about really just trying to focus on what is the next move for you and being attentive, being intuitive. What is it that God has for you? And relationships along the way. Because if Daryl Ford hadn't come along, I think I worked also with Glenn Plummer as well. I was producer at Christian Television Network for their TV show. TJ Hempfield, working with him. They had a magazine. You remember that? They had a magazine called Christian Times, I think it was, working with them and Christina. And so a lot of those things are clues of relationships along the way. Now, we had just also left, Mark, remember, Blacks in Advertising, Radio and Television, because that was an organization that really ran for roughly, I don't know, that was roughly about, what, 8 years?
That was a good 8-9 year run.
About 8-9 year run. And so during that, the relationships that we had, you were the president, I was the president, but the relationships we had from that really kind of helped sustain us and propel us into that next phase. You know, I remember we were working with Sharon Banks, Ellen Hill. There were just so many people that we could start. Lisa Helvey, that we still keep in touch with, and we are, you know, we got each other's backs no matter what's going on. And so when I started Ministry Marketing Solutions, doing publicity, one of the things that I learned in the 20 years of business is you have to have clarity. You can't do everything. My girl, Karen Dumas, she told me, she says, yep, we got all these people doing all these things, including chimney sweeping. Okay. It's like, you can't. So I was doing special events. This is when I first started. I was doing special events. I'm doing PR. I'm doing ghost writing. I'm doing copywriting, website. I was doing all this, and nothing was really working because I couldn't do it all. Even though I could do it all, I was doing nothing well. Jack of all
trades and master of none.
Right. So there was a book we're reading. We're reading this one thing, right? Just the one thing.
Just the one thing. I was actually thinking about that.
Yeah, we're doing one thing. So eventually, Ministry Marketing Solutions, I started working with just primarily ministries, helping them market and giving them solutions. And at that time, the internet was just getting going. And one of the things I was doing was helping them to understand the internet. Word of Faith, working with them. I was one of the ones working with them. Pastor Andre Butler, who's now just savvy and all this social media and online stuff. But I realized that I had a passion, Mark, for just really honing in on those that have a message that they want to deliver to the world. Nothing had really changed throughout my career. That's always what I wanted to do. And so,
is that these is exactly what we're talking about. This is a lane that you're in about working with people, ministries, and so forth. But right about that time of all this, there was something else that was going on. There was a new technology that was emerging. Talk about how you wrapped yourself into that.
Yeah. Yes. So obviously this is around 2000. This was before really kind of like websites were the big thing, right? So MySpace was really just coming on the scene. Facebook was the number 2 guy. MySpace was the number 1. And so I was working with a lot of authors and a lot of publishing houses, all the Christian publishing houses, and they had me work with all of their African-American authors. So I worked with Paul Morton, T.D. Jakes, Taffy Dollar, Dr. Sue J, hundreds of them. All of them really had to figure out how to embrace this new technology of being face-to-face with your readers online. And they were scared. They were like, I don't want to get online. We don't know what that's all about. And I was like, listen, your readers are there. Jump in there and do this. And so eventually MySpace went out, but we then switched over to Facebook. And Facebook, that's where a lot of people are looking at us now, was the place where you as an author need to connect directly with your reader. And at a certain point in time, authors felt like, I'm an author, I'm a celebrity. I don't talk directly with my I don't talk directly with my readers, but people love that, and that caught on, and it became a thing. And then I started really just teaching people then started teaching people how to really leverage the internet for
Mhm.
their things. So this is the other part of our little family here. This is
Peppy, what's up,
Peppy.
Pep?
This is Peppy. So of
Peppy,
course,
you want to answer a question, Pep?
one of the advantages, I just did a blog the other day about one of the advantages of working from home, right? You could be with your dog all day, but it's very, very annoying sometimes when you're trying to do a Zoom call with a client. But primarily, I want to come on today to tell people and encourage people, by being in business for 20 years, you have to have clarity. You have to have a set of boundaries too of the type of clients that you work with. Now, there are going to be some clients that you love, then there's going to be some that you're going to have to fire. And you're going to have to, even though everybody's money spends the same, some folks' money costs too much. Some folks' money
Can you
costs too
explain
much.
what that means?
If you're going to, it's going to cost you your peace, cost you your joy. It's
Mhm.
just going to cost too much. Okay. So it's not worth it. It doesn't. So I primarily love all of my clients. I love them. If they're working with me, I love them. All of the ones on Speakers Magazine, you can see them on the back there. I love them. They love me. I get results for them. Now, if I had a contentious relationship with any of my customers or clients, I would probably not get results for them, right? Because you don't have that same energy. Marketing is energy, and you have to love that love is the highest vibration. So you have to have that back and forth with your
Mhm.
clients. Not that we don't respect each other as far as business people, but you have a general, I respect your gift, your talents, and they respect my gift and talents. So as a publicity strategist, I help them really find their niche of where they need to go next. That is primarily the main thing. Where do they need to go next to expand their brand, and for
Mhm.
me to give my energy to what they already have?
Mhm.
That is one of the things that I've done for forever. And it started even as a young person,
Mhm.
doing that. That's one of my main things. So when I look at what are the main things that people need to really learn, it's like you gotta what's that song, Mark, that says you gotta roll with the punches?
Oh yeah, fight the power to be. You're right.
Not
Right.
that other line though.
Right. Isley Brothers.
The Ivy Brothers. But you
Mhm.
do. And I have had so many pivots. People say, oh, you're pivoting during the pandemic. I've always pivoted. We've always pivoted. Your
Mhm.
company has made some pivots.
Mhm.
And
My
and
life,
and
my life
and
has been a pivot.
my life has been a pivot. And it's been good because
Uh,
God is trying to take you to another level. So you can't just always fight. Now,
mhm.
obviously, you have an end goal. Hey, Michelle Leno. Yes, clarity and boundaries are very necessary. Dr. Leno, she's one of the ones as well. Now, she's another one that has such gifts that are expanding, and I see them
Mhm.
for her. And that's one of the gifts that I have. When I meet people, I see their talent, I see their gifting, and I see where they need to be next. So
Mhm.
with Dr. Michelle Leno, she has a TV show on WADL, but I also see her doing some other things on other networks, maybe something like an Apple TV or
Mhm.
Roku or things like that, where she actually spins off and does her own show. Because mental health, she's an expert in that, is so important. And just being on WADL may not be the best place, but we could talk, Dr. Leno, about some things as well. But I just see something bigger for her
That's
down.
one of your secret weapons, is that the ability of being able to see something in somebody else, what
Mhm.
they don't see themselves. Because a
And
lot of times we do have blind spots, and it takes somebody else to help us out to see around what the things that are around us that we have to go after
yeah,
and do.
and to give them those connections. I always say people are just one connection away
That's right.
from where they need to be. You
Hmm.
really do. And it's relationships. And
Hmm.
so one of the things that social media has obviously blown up and blossomed, but one of the things that I find that has been a secret to my success, I guess you could say, is integrity. I've never never did anything. I've never had any lawsuits and all that kind of thing. I've never uh, how do you say, bamboozled anyone. I've always had integrity. I've never come forward, even though social media and you can write anything you want on the website and
Hmm.
you can say anything, you can type up and put anything out there. But I've never done that. And whatever I say that I'm going to do, I deliver and I do it.
That's integrity.
That's integrity. And that's something in social media that people just feel like, oh, I need the excitement, I need the hype. And it's like, I am so over the hype of people with this false hyping and
Mm-hmm.
thinking that this is how you sell.
Right.
Now, anyone can talk and they can say the words and they can make it all sound pretty and good, but at the very end, are you going to deliver your promise?
Mm-hmm.
And
You're going to do
so
it
for
for
me,
you.
I work with Dr. Cindy Trim. She's been a best-selling author, and now her platform has grown. I've worked with Dr. Geneva, who's gone on and do wonderful things as well. Dr. Lorene, she's down in Houston. She's done some great things. And then it's never really changed in terms of who I'm working with. I have always seen when they come to me, they may start at a certain point and they have some success and they're very seasoned, but then they expand. And
Mm-hmm.
helping them in that expansion is really the joy that I have. I remember we worked with Ken Brown, and Ken Brown was successful. He was
Right.
a McDonald's owner operator.
And there are two McDonald operators.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, and
And he was like 30-something years old. He wasn't that old at
he
that
was
time.
the youngest African American
Yeah.
McDonald's owner operator. Didn't get it because it was handed to him, from his family. He worked for it. He
That's
had
right.
a great story, and I knew I saw his story. I help people develop their story, so I saw a story, and he told me a couple of things because I was doing PR for McDonald's at the time, and he told me a couple of things. He says, "You know what? You should write a book." And he says, "I don't have time to write a book." We hooked him up and actually produced a ghostwriter for him. Then that ghostwriter was the same ghostwriter that does like hundreds and hundreds of books for a lot of ministers and pastors. And they wrote the book became a bestseller. He says, I said, well, as we're shaping the book, I said, well, who do you want to be endorsing of the book? I'd like to have Dennis Kimbrough, not a problem, I know him. I'd like to have Les Brown, no problem, I know him. I'd like to have George Fraser, no problem, I know him. These people became that my network became part of his network, and he started speaking, and he could see where I was pushing him in terms of that next level out of being a McDonald's owner operator, creating videos and doing events and doing coaching. And he became alive. As he became alive, I became alive.
You set him on a whole different path.
Yeah. And I saw it in him for a long time. And actually by seeing and not knowing that was really what you said, Mark, was my superpower, I always took it for granted. So and I can also say too, when people come to me and they say they want something, I can see if they're just kind of interested or if they're committed. Because I can't work with you if you're just kind of interested in doing this. You need to be committed, because if you're committed, then we're going to do it. But if you're kind of
interested, work.
They have to work.
Well, that's the one people, they see your pretty face and she's nice and all that, but man, let me tell you, get ready to work with Pam.
That's it. It's like, I do not play. And it's like, we're going to do this thing. Just doing the magazine for the last 3 years, Speakers Magazine, every single month without fail, there's been a magazine and pulling together. And that's how I really saw that. I have a program rolling out in the fall, that there's so many speakers that are at the beginning stage and they need a program to really help them pull this all together. They don't need publicity right now. They need someone who can really work with their raw materials and pull them to the next level where they need to be. Now I work one-on-one with seasoned speakers and A-list speakers, but I'm pulling out a program that will give them the secrets of the other speakers that I work with. So that's step by step what to do.
Yeah. There's part of the conversation that's set up we were talking about earlier in terms of the technology. Is now you don't have to always be someplace at one particular time. You can be multiple places at one time.
Yes.
Being able to have different programs available to you online.
Yes, it'll be a membership program. I'll be there. My face will actually be where they can ask questions, of me when they get stuck. But there will be programs that they have to go to. There's even something as simple as a Photoshoot Planner that everyone says, "Oh, you need a photo shoot to build your brand." Well, you need a Photoshoot Planner. You don't even know what that is. So I give them in the program that'll be starting in the fall. Ready, set, go, speak. Okay, this is your Photoshoot Planner, what you give your photographers, so that you do not come back with the wrong pictures. Or you
ready, set, go, speak. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, ready, set, go, speak.com. It's coming soon.
All right. That's awesome.
Soon. But it's like, I always tell them, I said, boo, you're not as ready as you think. I said, so I have an assessment for you. Take this mini assessment. Out of 1 of 100, tell me where you lay. they take this media assessment and they think they're ready. And it's
Mhm.
like, well, I scored like, I said, don't tell me the score. I said, are you ready?
Mhm. Now you've been working from home for a long time.
Yeah, 20 years.
How has the pandemic impacted you working at home? Has it changed it all any at all?
Oh my God. Well, remember our anniversary? We were supposed to be in Aruba.
Hmm. Of
That
course.
was the most disappointing part of this pandemic because we're supposed to be in Aruba. But working from home yesterday, like there are so many Zoom meetings back to back that I'm like, I need to get out. I need to have that lunch meeting, or let's meet at the DOC. I mean, I need to get out. I'm a people person, so I need the energy of people. I
Hmm.
need the energy of people. So yeah, it's hampered me because I was traveling every single month with the magazine.
Hmm.
This weekend we have Faithpreneur Weekend, and it's with Dr. Stacy NC Grant. Make sure you
Yeah.
go to weekend.com. But the
Mhm.
thing of it is that I used to go to the event, and there's nothing like really engaging with someone eye to eye, face to face. Computers. I mean, I see Dr. Leno here, and there's I can say hi, but we
Mhm.
can't like give each other a hug. So that's been a challenge for anyone who's an extrovert. It's hard. How about you?
Oh, for me, it's been very easy. I like working from home, and I'm not in a rush to go see people.
See, that's the difference.
I'm much more sometimey than you. I mean, you get energized by it, and I think it drains me sometimes. But
Yeah,
I'm not to say I don't like people. It's just just a different level of it.
yeah. Different energy. Just I
Yeah.
get a different energy from people. That the thing of it is that what I've learned in business is you've got to be able to
Mhm.
roll with the punches. You've got to be able to make a pivot. You have to learn from your failures. Now there are
Mhm.
going to be some failures. I don't care what happens. Everything is not going to be 100% perfect all the time. And so you learn from that, and it's okay,
Mhm.
because that's if you don't learn, then you're going to keep repeating that same thing.
Right.
But I've learned. So I remember one time when I did the mentoring program a few years ago, and it was successful. But one of the things that was missing was it needed more interaction with me in there, and it needed a different platform for it to be set up. Well,
Mhm.
the platform wasn't available then. Okay, the platform is now available in 2020. The platform wasn't available when I created it 4 years ago.
Right.
Now I can use a lot of the same material, but put in a different platform, have it organized different, and be a lot more user friendly. And
Yeah.
people will then go through the program and actually get out of it because it's organized different because of the platform. And I had to learn the platform. You
Mhm.
can go to dbalaunch.com, and
Mhm.
that you'll see the platform that we're talking about. And it's just certain things that they weren't available. I looked at a video of an old client, Jesse Cole, that did
Oh
2000,
yeah, I remember Jesse. Yeah.
yeah, 2011, and
Mhm.
I put it up yesterday, and I said, Jesse, I said, look at that video. I said, woo, our cameras, them cell phone cameras way back then, they were horrible. Oh my God. I told him, I said, well, it was good stuff. I said, just strip the audio and put it up in the podcast, because that video was just jacked. But now we can do
That's a good point because there's a lot of stuff that's been produced earlier that will be just absolutely wonderful today, just to reproduce it. You know,
reproduce it, repurpose it.
yeah, to
I am the
repurpose it.
queen of repurposing. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the great things I think about the technology is that just in terms of being able to work with people that you don't necessarily have to be right in front of them. I mean, you work with designers that are on the West Coast and authors that are and writers that are in Atlanta, Georgia, and wow, I like that. And where'd that come from?
This StreamYard.
But then you can have somebody that's doing voiceovers, that's out east, and I mean, your network broadens,
Mm-hmm.
and people are much more are very willing to work with you when they don't necessarily know you, but they
That's
know they know your character, and they know what you've been able to do, what you have done.
yeah,
So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
yeah. Character is important, and if there's anybody that, yeah, she says that she's claiming something bigger. Yep, I see it in her. She has it. She has
Hmm.
the it factor. And that's one of the things that some people have the it factor, and she has the it factor. There have been so many other speakers that I've worked with. I'm trying to think of. And one of the things too, you need humility. So some speakers I'm trying to, at the beginning, they have the it factor, and maybe they just need a little bit of polishing. And I would say you need to probably practice and maybe go to your old high school or something like that. And it was like, high school? I'm not going to a high school. And do you know that E.T.
Eric Thomas. Oh, there we go. Nothing like live streaming, huh? Get a phone call right in the middle of it.
Decline.
Oh, me. Oh, this is on me. Uh-oh.
Decline.
Where is it at?
This is Pam Perry, and I also want to introduce Peppy Perry. So can you say hello? No, don't kiss me. Say hello to the people.
You gotta hit the video.
He always loves to say hi right before the live, so I'm going to put him down now so that I can talk with you.
There's a video that's playing that you want to click on.
I can't see where it is.
You can't see it. Look at the bottom.
So today I just basically want to come. Hey, this is Pam Perry, and I also want to introduce Peppy Perry.
All right. So while he tries to figure that out, guys, I'll add him back to the stream. Computer stuff is a little bit more easier for me than him, but it's okay. So one of the things that I was going to say in terms of really working with different authors is that you start where you can start. So E.T., E.T., the hip hop preacher, or Eric Thomas, he started actually in schools. I think I met him probably at least 8 years ago, if not 10 years ago. And he was speaking at Farmington, at my daughter's high school. And he basically was just coming from Lansing, the area in Lansing, speaking at a high school, speaking to a group. It wasn't even the entire high school. It was like a little group of leadership or something like that. And my daughter came home and she was really excited about this guy named Eric Thomas. And she says he was really good. Now that was different because from the standpoint that she says a motivational speaker is good. Now I work with motivational speakers all the time. That's what I do. I mean, from Les Brown or whatever, I'm working with motivational speakers. And she's like half impressed, but she was impressed with him. So I looked him up on the internet, Googled him, and I saw this video, and this video of him in a classroom, and he was talking to these kids, and the kids were listening, and he says, you got to want success as bad as you can breathe. And I looked and I saw at that time, it was probably like about, I don't know, 10,000 views. I said, oh, this is kind of good. Obviously now it's millions, but I saw the it factor in him, and I had him on my podcast not too long ago, and I was asking him where was his next phase. And this is before he got his PhD. And when he spoke it out, I saw it in him. I gave him some encouraging words, gave him some advice. Right now, he's like one of the top motivational speakers in the country, right? E.T. is. Started speaking to kids in high school, then speaking to kids at Michigan State. Now he's speaking for Nike and sports teams and that. So you start where you can start, and don't be afraid to start at the beginning. Same thing with media. Mark, you okay? Same thing with media. You may want to go on Oprah. Okay, there you go.
Periscope. Those things
I cannot find that where that coming from.
Good. And I heard you on ET on iTunes. Yeah. Yep, you did. Yes, that was it, Benita. It was one of those ones where I just saw it in him, and I said, you know what, this guy is really good. I'm going to give him an opportunity on my platform, and shared it around and got him speaking at different places and that sort of thing early in his career before he became like this household name. And also too, one of the things that he had going for him is that he surrounded himself with people who really embraced technology. He himself maybe didn't know technology, but he knew the young people did. All right. So that was one of his things. So with media, you may not start on ABC, NBC, or CBS, but maybe you start at the local cable show. Maybe you start at WADL. You know, it builds. Media begets media. You may go into, say, your local weekly newspaper, and then eventually your daily newspaper, and then maybe into a national magazine or a national newspaper. It starts. but knowing the right publicity strategy. And that's what I help people. I'm a publicist that helps people with their strategy. Knowing where you go next is so important. Now, how much does it cost? People always say, well, how much does it cost, to hire a publicist? Any good publicist is going to be from $2,500 up to $10,000 a month. And that's why I teach people the publicity process, give them the strategy, and I also offer them the contacts, because I can make a phone call and say, okay, I think you're ready for this particular show. Let's make this call. You're ready. If you're not ready, I have another program that helps you get media ready, because not everybody is media ready. And I'm not talking about like in terms of look of camera ready, but in terms of media ready. What are the things that you need in the background? How does your website look? How is your social media presence? How is your messaging? Is it clear? If it's clear, that's the main thing. Is it clear? And do you have the passion? Again, I was saying, I don't work with people who are just sort of interested. They have to be committed. They have to be committed. And they have to be willing to start where I tell them they have to start. They may say, okay, I want to be on this particular show. Well, before you get on this show, you have to get on this show. And it has to go that way. And I've learned from being in business 20 years that it's okay. It's okay. Everything is going to build and it's going to snowball. And one of the main things, being, a woman of faith, is just letting God lead you. And that's been knowing who to call in. A lot of the clients, probably 90% of the clients, I have not met face to face. They've been online. I've not run ads. I've not been out here pitching and hawking and all that kind of thing. But the thing of it is that when you have character and integrity, people will find you, and you shine your light, and you help them shine their light. That's my thing, is help them shine their light. And all I have to do is just go into my lane of my brilliance to allow them to shine their light on their brilliance. So that's it. Mark can't get back on the stream because he's on the Mac, and he's more of a PC guy. So he's on my Mac downstairs, and but that's okay, Mark. We're good. I just want to come on real quick. Hey, Pamela Jasper, how are you? Hey, Benita. So I just want to just come on really quick and to talk about my 20 years being in business. Turned 60 this year. Me and Mark been married 25 years this year. And one of the things I will say, that our daughter, if there's anything that is like, well, Pam, how do you feel about success? What is success to you? Success to me is my family. And my daughter went away to Michigan State, graduated in 4 years, majored in marketing and advertising. A combination between, she's an excellent writer. She now has a job. She has a career as a digital marketing strategist. But I heard her say to someone not too long ago, I think she was doing some kind of video, and she says what she'd really like to do one day is be an entrepreneur and have her own business. And she'd like to do something around digital marketing or advertising. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, so all these years, she's been watching her mommy, and she kind of like likes it. It'd be different. She says, woo, I want to be solely something different. I want to be a singer, like just something totally different. Nothing wrong with being a singer, but she basically wants to follow in our footsteps. And I thought that was a very compliment, I guess you would say, when your kids really see what, I mean, she never said that to me. I heard her say that on some video that she was doing. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. So anyway, that's one of the things. Mark, are you there? I'm going to put him back in the stream and see what happens. Yes, I'm happy for her too. It's some big things going to be happening for her soon.
Lessons that I have at Pam.
All right, so long.
Okay. I did a LinkedIn live earlier, so that's what he's listening to, and he can't shut off. So I love LinkedIn. I love Facebook and Periscope too, and YouTube. But LinkedIn is kind of like my favorite place to hang out. I don't know. It's just one of my favorites. So that's what he's listening to right now. But yeah, that's one of the things. And so go to PamPerryPR.com, get my free audio course on PR and the publicity process. You'll hear my style. I'm real honest, straight to the point, tell you exactly how to get what you need to get, how to pitch, how to get. how to go where you need to go, and and really just watch your career take off, your business take off. And that's really one of the things that if you have a message, I really want to help people deliver that message correctly to the world. That's my mission that I know I'm assigned by God to do. And my tagline is we help you shine online and beyond. But really, you do need to shine online, because that's how you're going to probably find most of the people that you're going to be doing business with is online. Now, the relationships can go offline, but primarily they're going to make that first impression online. So with that, I'm going to end this broadcast. This has been StreamYard. Oh, Mark, can you